to love you, and you can still be happy. That don't mean I got to accept him.
Hey, babe. What's up?
Hey, baby, how are you?
Yeah. Wow.
Let me introduce you to my friend, Ronald.
Somebody done lost their damn mind. Listen, hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, we're talking to you guys about the Never Ever Meet Season 1, Episode 5. Listen, Aaron done lost his damn mind. Aaron done lost his damn mind. What the heck happened? Aaron, what the heck happened? Bro, on this episode, what the heck happened? Huh? What happened? Sir, what happened? How did we get here? No. Can we just talk about this?
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, too.
She is gorgeous, Aaron.
Yeah, ain't she?
Thank you.
Man.
Irene, Irene. It's
Y'all-
just my
y'all met-
sister.
Now, the part that flipped me, the part that really got me, okay, the part that got me, okay, was not even this beef. See, this beef was light work for me. This, you know what? I don't like the fact he argued with her sister, but I'm gonna be honest with you. That was not what got me. See, that part didn't get me. See, that part that didn't get me gingered up. This part didn't make me ask questions. Now it went from 0 to 100, but you know what? Sometimes you don't like a sibling. It gets a bit tough. You get into an argument. I can see that happening. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I can see that happening. That's not the part that really threw me through the loop. Even though that was a little bit of a madness, you know. But when they're cussing each other like here.
I don't know what's going on, but it's getting very intense.
Well, one thing we know is that he thinks that she ugly. But this part wasn't the part that got me. The part that got me was when the brother went back into the room to have a conversation about the fact that he was not fake. That's the part that got me and blew me off the trail. I said, wait, hold on a minute now. You telling me you went back into a room just to prove to everybody that you're not fake? And then you started telling people that you don't like them? I said, nah. This is wild. This is wild to me. He literally said to Jodie's face, like, I don't like you. I was like, wait, whoa. Where are we? Where are we? I was like, this is too far. I was like, wait. Okay, wait, this part here.
I've been faking, and I'm not gonna have nobody feel that way about me. I ain't never liked you because I think you're full of.
Now, that's the part that got me worried. I said, hold on a minute. Because you spoke to your girl, and your girl said, obviously, she didn't feel like you backed her up, bro. It should have been a simple case of validating her feelings. Hey, you know what? You know what? You're right. I didn't back you up, you know, and I feel bad about the fact I didn't back you up. You know, I should have spoken up in a minute. Or, you know what? You have every right to feel the way you do. You know, that I should have backed you up. I personally didn't want to back you up because of X, Y, and Z, right? But no, the brother went out there and decided to put on a show. Brother went in there, pointed directly at Jodie and said, you know what? I don't even like you. Do you know, do you know what more frustrates me as well? Again, because obviously Jodie's already had the situation where previously people went into another room, right? Into another part of the house. I didn't like that as well. They avoided her food, and now they're pointing at her. I don't like you, and I feel that was just painful, you know. And then after, you know, we have we have Diamond coming in and chipping in on the back of what he's saying, and it's like, bro, I get it, but again, just like your girl, there's a better way to say this. There's a better way to say this. There's a better way to let this come across. There's a better way to have a conversation. Right? There's a better way. But in this instance, we're not getting that better way. In this instance, we're getting a whole heap of madness and a whole heap of skadachi. All that skadachi business right there. All that madness right there. All because you wanted to show your girl that you were a protective one? Come on, bro. That's way too far for me. That's the part that was getting me. I wasn't really fussed about the fight with his sister.
Excuse me. I think everybody in here is cool, but I think you're full of crap.
That's fine.
When she...
When he said he thinks that she's full of crap, I was like, why does it sound so personal? You know what I mean? Like, why does it sound as if we're offended by the fact that she's full of crap? I mean, if she's playing, you could have just said, again, it's the tone and the energy that he used to describe it. It's like, wait, no. If you think she's full of crap, I get it, but the energy, the tone, the everything, no, come on, bro. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. I'm gonna need you to get it together. Come on, buddy. Like, it almost felt almost bullyish. You know what I mean? Yeah, it almost feels bullyish a little bit, you know? And I felt sorry for Jodie in that moment. Look, I think she's faking it too. Okay? All right? I think she's faking it too. Okay? But the reality of the situation is coming in hot like that on the back of the situation, for me, was just a little bit too far. I just don't think it needs to happen. And all because you want to show to your girl that you actually have her back. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wasn't impressed by that. And the fact that Diamond, congratulated him and said, now I feel like you have my back. I was like, well, both of these people are toxic. You know what I mean? Both of these people are actually more toxic than we realized, right? Your age don't mean nothing if you're not healed. Both of these people are toxic. Because why did she also not take accountability, Diamond, for the fact that she was in a situation because she decided to go and open her mouth, right? Like, if you really deep it, she went to open her mouth. No one else told her to, but she was blaming other people and not taking accountability for what actually happened, right? Let's have a listen.
Ain't nothing. You could hear a pin drop. All the dudes, they're fake. I want to say you fake.
Me?
Yeah.
How am I fake?
You talk and you. I gotta go.
She couldn't even finish the sentence because really and truly, she was in her feelings and not actually dealing with the actual situation at hand. Okay? Right? Because she was in her feelings and she did not know how to communicate how she felt in that moment. Oh, y'all are fake. No, how? You're because you don't actually have an answer, right? You know your feelings are irrational. Maybe let me not say feelings are irrational. You know your judgment of the situation is irrational by calling people fake because really and truly you jumped in by yourself. You wasn't supposed to jump in. You wanted to jump in because you wanted to prove a point, and they didn't back you. You didn't have a discussion with them. And it's not even like, you had Jodie and the rest of the table against her. People were just quiet. That's all. But you came at Jodie. It doesn't make sense. All right? So for me personally, I'm looking at them going, okay, once more again, Diamond's unaccountable. Aaron, unaccountable. And, Aaron's, again, gives good advice. But in this instance, he needs to take some, right? Because he talked about how Chris going to look like, Chris going to come across as. He knows that Chris, talking to Jodie may look some type of way. Well, what about yours, bro? When you came in that room on 1,000, bro, it's going to look some way. I wasn't best impressed by that, you know what I mean? So, let's get into the show. Let's actually break down some of the stuff that's happened. We'll get a few other people on in a minute or two. Get my peoples on to come in and share their perspective as well. So we'll get the conversation flowing. All right, cool. Let's make sure first and foremost, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We're here reviewing Never Ever Met Season 1, Episode 5. And we're going to break down some of the stuff that's going on. Because let me tell you this now, this episode was
deeper.
Wow to me. All right, let me get my notes up. All right, let's start off with Sienna and Brandon because
after Brandon said he didn't,
they obviously got kicked out of the show. And to be honest, I don't know any. They deserve to get kicked out because there's nothing else they're gonna offer.
Move forward romantically. I was disappointed, but I also felt free. Like a weight was kind of lifted off my shoulders because I got the reality.
Now, obviously, in a situation, Brandon and Sienna, we knew they weren't going to work because her disrespect of him was too large and too big. Now, she keeps on saying, maybe we can be friends. Maybe we can be cool after. I'm like, why would you want to be friends and cool after? Why do you want to be cool and friends? That's my question. I want to know why she wants to be cool and friends after disrespecting him the way she did. Who wants to be cool and friends after you disrespected them like this? Do you get what I'm saying to you? So why does she want to be friends after? I was like, is she not deep in the fact that she cussed this man out, insulted him, interrupted him, was rude, disrespectful, threw flowers at him, which was, gone from verbal to a physical assault, right? And all that kind of stuff. And she still wants to be friends after? I was like, yeah, because you know what? He treated you correct. He treated you right. Now, he might not be perfect, but he treated you right. And your toxicity took you out of the situation. And you realize that your toxicity has cost you something. Now, I'm not saying that you definitely wanted this man, but I'm saying the whole point of the fact that when you deep it and you look at your scenario, you realize you're a problem. Right? You're a problem. So, I was looking at that and I was like, okay, well, actually, in this scenario, when it comes to Brandon and Sienna, their issue is the fact that they were incompatible because the way that she would argue with him, she argued to win, not to understand. She argued to break him, and rather than actually building with him. And so in the end, the show said, well, you gotta go. Okay, it's the end of the show because although we've come to the end of the road, it's the end of the road. You know what I mean? So yeah, they had to leave. I think it was the most sensible choice to make, and they had to go. So it is what it is. And then we had obviously Aaron and Jody. It was a very quick one they had. I see Sean in the background, fantastic. Aaron and Jody really quickly because their situation, boy oh boy, Aaron and Jody, boy oh boy. You know what I mean? I don't even know what's going on with Aaron and Jody, but I do know that our brother let us know that he could not make her panties wet. He said, T-shirt and her panties on. T-shirt and her panties. But he knows that, listen, she ain't been won over and she ain't been, enticed per se by him. And I was like, you know what? He gonna suffer a long time with this lady here. Okay, he gonna suffer. He gonna find out eventually. I was like, damn. And he even mentioned himself that, you know what, he doesn't even feel like, he doesn't feel like he makes her have, sexual attraction. They have physical but not sexual. I said, damn. And also, I found out in this episode, I didn't even realize that she had been through some sexual violence as well. And that will distort the way that you maneuver. I can't lie to you. Going through SV, it will change your life dramatically. It will change your perspective and the way you feel about boundaries and the way that you feel about relationships and how you should go about them and what should be said, what should be done. And that does affect people a lot, right? Going through that traumatic experience. But there's a need for healing too, right? So hopefully, she gets that because that's probably it permeating into why she has a relationship that she does, as to why he, she wants to dominate as well. Have a look at this.
Take your feathers and lightly stroke the person's face, lightly tease.
Well, oh man, listen, that feather situation. Now, our good sis Jodie told us that, you know what, she's a sexologist, but there was nothing sexy about anything she was saying or doing. There was nothing intimacy building wise from her and Aaron that we ever saw. We never really see any intimacy building. So listen, we're not saying you have to have sex with him, but where is the intimacy building? Where's the intimacy building? No, maybe you know what? Maybe, she can't use her skills on the show, but I'm saying the fact that she said, obviously, she's a sexologist and this is right up her street. I said, girl, you ain't got no asses. What are you telling me, Sean?
What's going on, brother?
What's Gucci, man? Crazy episode, brother.
Yes, I mean, listen, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say because every corner you turn is some foolishness going on. But I do like the show. I like it every episode. I like it more and more. I'm glad they brought on Dr. Ramani. You know, it was good to see. Good to see. The her sit down with Sandia and Chris. Not that I believe it's gonna, it did much, but it was good that they sat down with her. I thought that was great. I would have loved to see her sit down with some of the other couples too.
Yeah, that's Romani was good as well, and I saw that obviously she kind of swatted through Chris and Sandia, and she kind of was good. She made sure that each person was validated, made sure that their feelings was considered, and that was a very balanced conversation as well in that spec. I think that conversation revealed a lot more again about Sandia specifically. Chris has been quite consistent, but Sandia, yeah, she's gonna need some work. You know what I mean? She's gonna need some work because the way that she's behaving, mute on the side when everything's happening, acting like she was confused as to why people were, saying something about Chris in the first place. I just thought to myself, yeah, this ain't gonna be pretty. This ain't gonna be a smooth transition. But it needs to be done. You know what I mean? It needs to be done. Let's break down a few of the couples. Obviously, then let's break a couple of couples, have some conversation because I think there are some key points here. And I'm just going to my notes. Let's obviously talk about. We're already on them, so we'll talk about them. Aaron and Jody, obviously, for you. Obviously, I want to get your perspective. But I want to just play a clip first and make sure I'm on the right one for Aaron and Jody. And hopefully I'll get the right clip. Because I think... Oh boy. Okay, I haven't got a clip for them. I thought I might have a clip for them, but I don't think I can find the clip that I was actually looking for. Okay, so Aaron and Jody, obviously, they haven't got much chemistry. They're not seemingly gelling together in terms of actually bonding time. People are starting to call it out and start to obviously label it as well. So what's your thoughts, Sean, on this episode? Because Aaron, especially when Aaron faced Aaron and was almost cussing out, was cussing out what's the name? Sorry, why do the names always go out of my head?
Both Aaron? You talking
when
about
Aaron was
Aaron
cussing out
H?
Jody. Yeah, when Aaron was cussing out Jody, Aaron didn't really step in. You know what I mean? So I want to get your thought process on Aaron and Jody. What you saw from them this episode?
Well, I mean, first I thought that Aaron H, who is the elder Aaron. I felt like his outburst with Jody was misplaced. In my opinion. I mean, I've seen some different people's opinions online or whatever. Some people was like, oh, he was doing what Diamond asked him to do. But to me, it just seemed very displaced. It seemed unnecessary because at the end of the day, your connection is with Diamond. And truth be told, your any issue you would have would any like you're there to like Diamond. You're there to build your connection with her. Why would you have so much invested anger or energy towards Jody? I've never seen her do anything to him directly. So for me, it's like it seemed very petty. It seemed very unnecessary for him to walk in that kitchen and say, "Oh, well, I just want to be honest. I don't like you. I never liked you." And da da da. It's like, bro, why are you in this petty foolishness? You've positioned yourself as an elder. You've called yourself to be somebody who can give wisdom and help support people because of your experience, but yet you want to be walking around unleashing on this woman who has nothing to do with you. And only thing we saw was Diamond stick her nose where technically it didn't belong. you know, and then she's mad at you because you didn't back her up in something that really technically had nothing to do with her. So to me, it's like y'all are not looking like elder, like y'all are looking like real messy, real unnecessary. And now here you are yelling at this woman, and then in the midst of you yelling, now you want to go off on the other Aaron and tell him how he need, she don't really like you anyway, and blah blah blah, and y'all not gonna be together, and take my number. It's like, bro, fall back. Like, you're doing too much right now, my G. And Aaron, the other Aaron, Jay, I guess his name is, tried to say a little something. uh, he that dude needs to pack it up, because he tried to help out Jody, but it really didn't do nothing in the end at all.
Yeah, listen, no, when he came in, when Aaron obviously came in there, um, you know, he came on smoke. But I was looking at the other Aaron, Jody's Aaron, and thinking to myself, is he not going to defend her? Is he not going to speak up for her? Is he not going to cover her? And I said, at this point, I said, yeah, it's over, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. This isn't a relationship. Because, like, when another man rails on your girl, bro, especially if your girl didn't deserve it, fam, do you think you're going to stand there and be okay with it? I think I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm going to say something or do something. You know what I mean? So for me, watching it, I was like, why is Aaron not actually saying anything? Why is he not backing her up? And I was like, well, because really and truly, I think, that, I think in reality that, Aaron doesn't give protective vibes, doesn't give strength, doesn't give confidence, feels a bit weak at points, and I think that was exposed by the other Aaron coming in there saying, to Jody, and him not saying, "Hey, bro, chill on that. Let me correct you on that." You know what I mean? Let me let you know, bro. Listen, my girl, don't talk to her like that, bro. The same way, well, of course, she's not a Millie, but Sandia's not a Millie, but the fact is, she's a bit quieter. So Jodie's also somebody too. Like, I don't see her as being overly argumentative. Sandia, her, Millie's a bit more louder. You hear that, and Darren's a bit more loud as well. But when it comes to actually Jodie, we haven't really heard. Of course, she does have a little bit of her pipes up, but you haven't really heard the madness like from Jodie. Like, she is somebody who's gonna go. They said she goes rah rah. I didn't really see rah rah. The last two episodes, I've not seen her go rah rah. I've seen her be in a space where she's been come out, and she hasn't really done a rah-rah. Also, I felt like Aaron was going to protect her a bit more. I thought he was going to cover her. I thought he was going to say something to the other Aaron. I thought he was going to let him know. And it only got to a point where he kind of said something when just before he was about to say it, he just, that's when, he got questioned by old boy as well, right? Got questioned by him, Adeba Aaron. And so I was like, why is he not letting Jodie know that he's there for her? And I was like, more than likely, the probably doesn't know what he needs to do in this season, in this moment. And again, because the foundations haven't been set in their relationship. So, I don't know. That was a bit interesting for me. Any other thoughts on them, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, I as wild as you know it was for Aaron H to be coming at Jody that way, he wasn't lying. Again, I don't think it was his place in that moment for him to say anything to Jody like that. If he really wanted to give Aaron J some advice, he could have pulled him to the side. I mean, because we all see it. We all see their connection is lacking. We all see that, whatever Chris and Jody have going on, that they have more of a chemistry than Chris and Jody have more of a friendship than Aaron and Jody do. Because Chris also went to defending Jody as soon as Aaron left out the kitchen, and started to saying, anybody who said something about Jody, I never said anything bad about her. I like her. Did you? So he went on this whole big tirade. Meanwhile, Sandia's over there in the corner looking like, what about me? So we all can see that there's, whether it's a romantic connection or just a very strong friendship bond, something is going on with Chris and Jody. And Aaron knows it too. the other Aaron. So it's like that situation where somebody, what they're saying, how the way they're saying it is reckless, but what they're saying is kind of like, well, damn, it's true. So he don't know what to say. And then he's also seems to always be very passive, which is why I think him and Jody work together in some capacity, because she can just boss him around. He's not really going to question her a lot. He's not really going to hold her accountable to do anything different, which is why I think there's a part of Jody that likes being in a relationship to a certain degree with somebody like an Aaron, because she can just steamroll over him. So I never saw, and I'm not surprised at the way Aaron reacted, the other Aaron, when Aaron H was screaming, because when have we ever seen him speak up for himself? When have we ever seen him say, "Hey, listen, Jody, during the sexual exercise they did where they were picking the Kama Sutra thing, he just sat there, and just kind of let her do whatever." It's always been that, and he's had these thoughts, but he never does anything.
Yeah, listen, I can't lie to you. Like I said, the reality of the situation is that with Aaron, the Aaron that's actually dating Jodie, I think he just missed an opportunity here. You know what I mean? I think he missed an opportunity. But he did obviously do a little bit of comeback with Aaron a little bit later on. But I just think he missed the opportunity. I think he just missed the opportunity to cover Jodie and just kind of show her that he's a strength of the relationship, right? Now, of course, obviously, it might not have gone well because obviously she, is a free spirit and she'll do whatever she needs to do. But the reality of the situation is that, he could have potentially, used resources differently, and used himself in a different way. He could have literally just stepped in a little bit more earlier. I felt like the conversation kind of went too long, and he could have just covered her a little bit more better. But I mean, that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. But reality for me goes, this is not a relationship. This seems like a friendship. And I think that's instead of her, taking someone like who she is dating, I don't think she is, she chose somebody who would be safe and who would not rock the boat and who would not do too much damage, but would be, be able to keep up appearances. So she chose someone like Aaron. But the reality is that, she's in an unfortunate position now because, Aaron's having to be in a position where Aaron's gonna have to be in a position where he's gonna have to try and look after her, and I think it's a two-way street. When I mean that, it's a two-way street, right? Because I think from her perspective, she needs to show a bit more softness. But in this instance, she was actually getting bombed. Like this one, she generally got bombed out of nowhere. That's why I was just thinking to myself, surely he would have said something. Surely.
But bro, you have, for somebody to, I'm gonna step out and put myself out on a limb for you when I know there's a return for it. Like I'm getting something. What has Jody shown him where he's gonna really go all out on a limb for him? She don't really like him like that. He knows it. She's giving more energy to this other guy, and now she's getting railed on. He eventually says something. He's already a passive person. What what context for a relationship do they have for him to really step out on a limb and really just be somebody completely different than who he is? What is she giving him to really make him be like, "Oh, I'm gonna risk it all"? For what?
No, I hear that. That's fair. I mean, I guess obviously I just thought to myself like, she got railed on the other day, and railed on today as well. It's like, I think my natural instinct would have been to try and defend the person, but that's just me, natural instinct. You know what I'm saying to you? But I obviously haven't had a conversation. I don't know if they had a conversation in the past about protection already, but my natural instinct would have been to try and defend her a little bit. You know what I mean? Because Aaron came out the blue, did what he did. Called her out of the name. And I've been thinking to myself, well, hold on a minute. Let me defend my gal at least. You know what I'm saying to you? So, but I hear what you're saying. I mean, they got bigger issues when it comes to sexual compatibility, and I think he even said that he knows that she potentially doesn't find him sexually attractive, but maybe physically attractive, but not sexually. What was your thoughts on that, Sean?
He nailed it. He knows, you know. And I think, Jody gave some good context on her, her rationale, because of her past experiences too. So I was sad to hear that we have yet another woman who's, been the victim of sexual abuse. So that to me was sad to hear. But I think we can see the way she just runs herself. She's gonna beat you to the punch. But what's inconsistent to me is she's saying two different things. On one hand, because she was all agreeing, all chummy with Chris when he was talking a few episodes back, saying that women need to act more like men when it comes to sex. But here, when it comes to Aaron, she's saying she wants to take her time. She wants to take things slow. So I'm confused, and then she explained it to say like, oh, she's a man eater. All of that to me it's not adding up. It seems more like she just doesn't have the chemistry with him and she don't want to say it. She wants to keep this elaborate, ruse going on. Like we all can't see it for ourselves. And it's not to say she needs to jump into bed with him and getting up into the boom boom room and doing, blah 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 blah. No, she could, you could do whatever she wants to do or not, but we just don't see chemistry and he doesn't see it either. And she's not talking about it. And every time somebody questions her about it, she just looks like, oh yeah, I like him. Like when Taronda called her out last episode, she was like, "Oh no, I like him," and then she has a blank look on her face, and it's not resonating. Meanwhile, when she talks about Chris, her face lights up. She gets excited. So she definitely doesn't have any chemistry with him. She just needs to be honest, stop dragging it out, and be upfront.
Yeah, definitely hear that. Definitely hear that. Yeah, I won't add any more to that, but I definitely hear that point as well. Definitely hear that point. Let's go to a next couple. Let's go to another couple that were involved. Let me look at my notes actually to make sure I've got the right one. Okay, because the other couples weren't really involved. Like, if I'm honest with you, so. But let's talk about obviously Chris and Zendaya. Because the rest of the couples, I'm not gonna lie to you, they weren't really evident. I won't lie to you, they weren't having any particular conversations that were seemingly
With Joey.
shut up and important on the show. So let's focus on that.
But if indeed the and so in the next relationship with that person, trust takes a longer time to build up.
Yes, and I
no, you're not
understand
that person, but there's something that happened to him. He needs to feel safe too. So now you sort of pay for the sins of the past, right? So the empathy is to recognize.
Alrighty. What's your thoughts to Chris and Zendaya? Is this retrievable? Is this salvageable? Sorry, or is this something that is, one of them need to let go? What's your thoughts on this?
Excuse me. They need to pack it up. They need to pack it up because I don't think we really got to the crux of the majority of what even the little bit of issues we see on the show. They talked about at the end her having empathy for him because of his past trauma in the relationships. We don't even know what that past trauma is. He kind of alluded to it, like somebody being unfaithful to him, but we don't. So you had one relationship where somebody cheated on you, and now that one situation caused you to distrust all women. There's something bigger than that. And I'm not saying one session of therapy is going to get to fix that, but I just feel like it is a bigger theme for us to cover. And the way he also dismisses her feelings, like I feel like Taronda talked about it more, where we could see a full, like a full understanding of how Chris operates. Like I feel like once he got up in front of Dr. Ramani, he acted right. It's like before you go to the appointment, like sometimes you have a doctor's appointment, right? And before you get to that doctor's appointment, you want to make sure, like the week before, oh, I'm not eating, I want to eat all the right things. I'm going to drink enough water. I want to make sure my blood sugar is right where it needs to be, so that I know what I've been doing, but I just don't want it to show up. I mean, I'm just using kind of a weird example, but it's like how we are performative in front of a professional, so we don't give them the full us so that they really can't get to the root cause of what the issues are. So, yeah, as much as he talked about needing to have more empathy for her, like, to me, it's like, what is it about you that when she speaks, you just want to totally disregard what she's saying? To me, that's somebody avoiding something. That means I'm somebody that is deceptive, somebody that wants to be manipulative in the fact, like, I don't want them to get to what they're telling me about, so I want to make it be more about them than it is about me. And Chris is somebody that I think he just hides that part of himself well. So I think she needs to pack it up. And then on the fact of, she doesn't do a good job of expressing herself. She doesn't do a good job of defending herself, of speaking truth to the things that are really the issues as in her point of view. So the two of them together, they're just gonna do this weird back and forth dance, and it's not gonna be healthy and productive.
I definitely hear that. No, I definitely hear that. I mean, I think with Chris and Sandia, I think he's scared. I think obviously he's afraid of letting her in all the way. He definitely was given avoidant kind of tendency and energy as well. And he obviously had this. I felt like he runs away from the situation when it gets too deep or too emotional or too overwhelming when it comes to emotions. Reality of the situation is that, look. Most relationships are salvageable, but when people are pushing boundaries consistently, and doing it right in front of your face, and it becomes all too much and too real. And so I get it, man. I see with obviously Chris and Dia, I would understand why she has a lot of apprehensions, because the way that he's behaved, it's been madness. Let's be honest. Let's not pretend as if his behavior has been exemplary. No, the person's been a madness on this. Jay, what's your thoughts to Chris and Naomi?
Naomi?
I call her Naomi. Sandia. I'm thinking of Bible, sorry. Sandia.
My question would be, it's a question that they will have to ask themselves. Do you feel there is parts of you that need to change? Because until that question is answered with a honest yes, and we ain't getting nowhere on both parties' part. Chris can sit here and do all the therapy we want to do. We can sit here and feel good about the little bit of openings that we're doing, but the real work won't come until we actually are real and honest about ourselves and our feelings and things that we've been through and we're going through. We think about yada, yada, yada. Is this a first step for him to making that change? Possibly. It's a good step. Sometimes you just got to realize that you are going through something and there are people out there that can help you. Take the help. Is he going to make the change for himself before we even say, is he going to make it for Sandia? One day, eventually, yes. In Sandia's time, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to fit into her timeline or whatnot. But she's set up in a certain way that he can give her the bare minimum and she's okay with it. She's fine, because we go from him not valuing my feelings, listening to me, to I can let him lead me, take control whenever we be in bondage or whatever. We got a sexual chemistry. So as soon as we put sex on the table, all logic and common sense goes out the window with Sandia. We forget about that. He doesn't value anything I just said 5 minutes ago prior to us getting into the bedroom. So is she going to be willing to change herself and say, you know what, I want more, and I want that more now from a person that is capable of giving me the same exact love, alignment that I grew up in, but with the love and respect that I desire right now? Or do I want to wait for Chris because of his potential and gamble my time on that, hoping that it'll turn out and be in good fortune by the end of it? So that's a question that she has to ask herself. He has to ask himself, do I really want to change anything about me. And I just feel like personally right now, how I see Chris is I don't have a problem. So why should I change? You have the problem. So you need to fix it. And until he realized I'm the common denominator in all my situations that have gone wrong, I'm the common denominator in all my situations that have gone right. I want more rights than wrongs. Let me figure out what I'm doing right, go along with that line, and fix everything I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. I definitely hear that. And I think with Chris, I think Dr. Romani was trying to do a good job of just trying to keep the balance between the two of them, right? But Sandia was also an issue, right? Because she was mad silent, not just here, but earlier on as well when they were talking, and he was saying, "Oh, look, this thing is not it's not my fault with the Jodie situation, blah blah." Before we knew it, you know, uh, he had turned on her, bro, and was, at her a little bit. So I feel like Sandia needs to raise her voice, right? Because she was quiet then, and she was quiet when they said about the Jodie situation, right? And she came in the room, and I'm glad, because I don't want to be confrontational, blah 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 blah. But it's like, baby, you can talk up about how you feel without there being controversial, without there being mayhem in a sense. And I was like, why is she so silent? What has happened in her past that's contributed towards her voice being robbed, and that she has to be almost relying on other people, to kind of aid and abet her to do what she's supposed to do. Do you get what I'm saying to you? That lack of talking is going to cost her in the long run as well, because it's like, look, we don't know how long certain things will be dragged out for, but the reality of the situation is she needs to find her voice, and she needs to find it now. You get what I'm saying to you? Because she can't be carrying dead weight out here, because it gets tiring after a while. Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like she's so conflict avoidant that she's almost like when truly situations get heated, she just like sinks into the shell and she can't even speak up. Whilst people are speaking on her behalf, it's like we don't really truly get to hear her full opinion. It's the same look she had when the group was there and she overheard Chris talking about her, and she just was like looking. It's like, ma'am, did someone silence you? Did that happen? Because sometimes you see that in people. I mean, listen, we're only left to figure this out because we have no clue. Because it just seems like when it comes time for her to speak in group settings, she really doesn't say. Really doesn't speak, and she just looks. And then other people jump in and fill in the gaps. And I think that then they wind up on a limb, and she says nothing. And then behind the scenes, she says to Chris, "Oh, well, I don't know why everybody got so upset, ma'am, because you're saying one thing, but then we don't really hear your voice in a general setting, and people are speaking about you and speaking on your behalf, and you don't have a lot to say." Even when the last episode, Jody came and sat right beside her after when Chris called her over, when Sandia was saying like, "Hey, listen, I have a problem with XYZ," we didn't really get to see what did Sandia say after Jody came over there and kind of said whatever she said. Sandia still says nothing. So we need Sandia to find her voice. And I just feel like it's totally unhealthy to be with especially somebody like Chris, who all he does is tell her voice is your voice is and that your feelings don't matter. You know, somebody like that is not a good landing place for someone who struggles with really fully communicating and resolving conflict. The person that dismisses it is manipulative. That's the worst person for you to try to go through all of those things together. The both of you are like the worst combination. Somebody who struggles with saying what they feel and somebody who dismisses someone's feeling and he already said it himself, lacks empathy. Can he get better? Sure, he can, but it's going to take a lot of work and as Jay said, a lot of acknowledgement of the things that he needs to change, and she has her own work to do. I don't think those two people should be doing that work together, because eh, chances are people are going to default back to their original place.
Thank you for sharing that, Sean. Yeah, I think, when you lose your voice, and I'll let Jay jump in. When you lose your voice like that, it's before this relationship, right? So she already lost her voice way before this. The relationship is compounding that lack of confidence in your own voice. When you're unable to voice your opinion and voice how you truly feel, because what she's really doing is hiding how she really feels. And I've got a set of videos that I've just started filming on a series called self abandonment, right? And how we abandon ourselves, just to be able to retrieve love. Because what she's doing right now is self abandoning just to be able to have the bare minimum in a relationship, right? So she's not being honest. She's not being honest about how she truly feels, not being really honest about how she really feels about the situation, not being honest about what she's seeing in front of her. And so it allows him to get away with it even more, because he's not going to change under the duress, under no circumstance or duress from her. Like, no expectations set from her mean that, whoa, okay, well, I'm going to do what I was doing before. And so because of that, she's hiding how she truly feels. Therefore, her desires, her needs, her wants are not going to be spoken of. And so she'll happily forego those things and put his priorities on the top of the Christmas tree, because it's easier that way. It's like, I have an easier job, I have an easier life doing it that way, right? Rather than actually stating how I feel, how I want this, how I want that. She's afraid to be able to say those things, right? And I think that's something that she'll have to learn as well. Because I'll be honest with you, it's kind of interesting to watch her, kind of like be so sunken and quiet, and her body language kind of shows too. But it's just like everything seems to be working in a way where, for her, this part of the show is set up so that you can actually say something in a safe space. But whether she'll take it on or not, we don't know. Whether she won't, we don't know. She's willing to do whatever it takes in a negative way to stay in a relationship that she doesn't need to be in, which is, for me, it's wild. But I also get it. When people are desperate, we want in love, we want attention. This is a good-looking man. You probably think to yourself, I've won the lottery. But the reality of the situation is, he's not supplying you what you need, right? But yeah, Jay, I don't know if you want to speak to the fact that Sandia obviously hasn't got a voice at the moment. What were your thought process?
I'm kind of curious on her childhood. I would like to know how it is, because it's a funny thing about having to be independent very early. You learn that you don't really depend on validation of other people so much. You don't have this need to just constantly please other people when you have to defend and take care of yourself at an early age. And I'm just wondering how her childhood was. Was she always catered to? Was she always taken care of? Did she have to take care of herself at an early age by herself, depend on herself or whatever? And she just kind of developed some codependency. Do you got siblings? There's a lot of different factors that play into why she doesn't have a voice. And I know sometimes when we do have siblings, sometimes the oldest, we're in between two generations, because we're in between, and I say this weirdly though, but we're in between raising our siblings while still being a child to some parents or whatever. So we don't really have a voice. Our voice is our parents' voice. And it gets tricky because we can only use it in manipulative ways to our little siblings we got to be tricky on how we do it, because we can't get in trouble for telling them some stuff that we shouldn't be telling them, or we trying to get them to do some things that we need them to do so we don't get in trouble. But if we do it in a certain way and they tell on us, we get in trouble. So you learn how to be manipulative in a secretive way and not an overt talkative way. And I'm just curious on, a bit of how she was raised, because that's what she keeps going to, is our traditions, our foundations. We share the same similarity and all this. So I'm curious, in which type of Haitian household was she raised in, where women are pretty much excuse me, you know what word I'm trying to say right now, but they're dormant and they don't have much of a say, or was she raised in a more boisterous woman household? However, she's somewhere lost in the sauce of too many louder voices, because I just don't get why she can be big in small groups, but when she shrinks herself when she gets around Chris. And I would want her to actually get into a space for herself that she just loves herself so much that if people don't want to stay in her life, it's okay. You're just making room for somebody better to be in my life. So please exit out. By anything I tell you, if I tell you that this makes me feel uncomfortable and you run with that as I'm attacking you, thank you. Please keep moving. Please keep moving, sir, because this is not the space for you. But if I tell you how I feel and you sit there and say, you know what, I hear you, let me see if this is something I can work on, then I can work with you. And I hope she learns that difference with what with this relationship with Chris is he's in a space where he's not trying to actually work with you. He's telling you to work on yourself. And if you fix it, I might be here. So I hope she's hearing everything he's saying.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I said, I would love to find out what kind of background she has indeed as well, Jay, because it makes all the difference. You know, as I started learning about self abandonment, I started realizing how many, and I'm obviously coaching the last 2 3 weeks. You know, I'm seeing that of a lot of clients. It's the same thing, right? You know, this, and I call it, you know, I termed it the voice. You know, we lose our voice, you know, but we lose our voice in different ways. You know what I mean? Like even myself, I have issues with my voice. You know, I find it harder to say no, so I just kind of avoid it in general. I don't have a voice. It's a boundary issue. It's a boundary issue, but it's also a self-abandonment issue. It's the inability to be able to express one's needs, wants, and or we put other people's needs and wants above mine. Right? You know, sometimes I when I want to say something, I think about how someone else's feelings are going to be before I say what I say. And some of them might think, oh, you're very considerate. No, Negro, you're not actually that much considerate. You just don't have a voice and you're not confident enough to say what you actually feel because you're afraid of rejection and abandonment and not being liked. Now, that's my perspective. But with Sandia, what we're seeing is in a moment when it comes to, in a moment where, you know, you're seeing her sitting with a therapist, sorry, a counselor, you know, the doctor, and you're seeing Chris there, and she literally she was literally pretty much mute. I mean, she said her piece, but then she was pretty much mute. And so, you know, Chris is saying what Chris is saying, and you know, saying about how, you know, he's almost offended the fact that she has emotions, and he's given a classic avoidant. But when this avoidant doesn't want to love you, so it's not just avoidant. He's actually given somebody who's an avoidant who doesn't want to love you, because you heard the words, the key words. Oh, you know, when she gets emotional, it feels like she's manipulating me. That is typical avoidant language, where they feel like emotions about other people, especially anxious people, are becoming manipulative for them, right? So you know that's another thing there that Chris will have to look at. But at the same time too, for Sandia, we have to look at his game. Like, hey, babe, why are you abandoning yourself? Why are you allowing yourself to not have a voice? Why are you allowing yourself to be robbed here? You know, you've heard what he said. Why do you want to stay in a situation about, you know, we got great physical chemistry? Well, that's beautiful, but you're being robbed of your voice. You're not able to say how you truly feel. So yeah, that's always interesting to kind of see. I think that with Sandia. I mean, look, the whole situation with Jodie, you know, and then she went to talk to Jodie later on and be like, you know, I didn't want anyone to talk up for me. Baby, was you not talking in the background last episode, 2 episodes or whatever, with Diamond and Millie, talking about how, you know, you can see certain things are going on with Jodie is a bit too close for you? Was you not asking for boundaries to be implemented with Chris, and you want to sit in front of Jodie and kind of be passive about what you actually said? Now, well, there you go. I mean, she's not being honest about her, you know, past this. You know, you're not being, you know, assertive with communication. It's probably for a reason. Sean, I don't know if you wanted to add anything on that.
Yeah, I think there's an element of manipulation that they both have. I think Chris is more, we can see it, you know, for what it is, and maybe hers is a little more subtle and covert, because it's like you, and I think that's the part where Diamond is getting upset about, saying, well, you're fake. Well, I don't know that it's fake, but it's she's willing to say enough to get people on her side, but I don't know that she necessarily asked her to or wanted people to have all this loud fighting. So she's like, I want people to agree with me because I need that agreement. I need that acceptance to make me feel like my feelings are valid, but I'm not going to do anything with it. And I'm not necessarily going to confront it in that way. And then when other people do it, she probably felt a little good, but didn't like the backlash. So it's kind of like that little weird, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think there is a little something to the fact that she does like people rallying around her, but she might not like all that attention and all that rah-rah and all the ruckus that's kind of breaking out in the house, which is people's own issues. Because truth be told, just the same way it was unprovoked for Aaron H to be going off on Jody, the same way it was unprovoked for Diamond to insert herself and start getting so upset about something that the person hasn't asked you to do. Even if she did confide in you and say, hey, listen, I don't like this and I don't like that. Did she say, hey, listen, on this day, I want you to say this? I want you to speak up and I want you to confront Jody. I want you to confront Chris. I want you to be the my attorney and my advocate and speak for me. No, I think she just might like people, backing her up in that moment and she can vent. But she don't necessarily want you to go and execute. So I think that's something she has to work on. It's like when you're telling people things, you need to be conscious of, "And I'm just venting, right? I don't, and as you're venting and getting this feedback, how are you going to now execute? How are you going to move forward to change the things that you view are problematic? And what do you do when, if you take information to somebody and they spit it back to you and tell you you're wrong, how are you going to navigate that? Are you just going to push down and keep pushing forward, because that's the shrinking down part, that's the pretending part, and now you're not being your true self? So I think she has to really get comfortable with what she's looking to get out of people, and what is she going to, kind of get strength in her inner strength to be able to stand on things that are problems. Because every time you bring something to a relationship, when you're in a relationship with somebody, if you tell them there's something that you think they're doing is wrong, people aren't always going to agree with you. So how are you going to handle that, whether it's Chris or somebody else? How are you going to deal with that? Are you going to keep talking to your friends, your family, and tell them all your problems, or are you going to deal with it directly with the person?
Do you want to add anything, Jay, to that?
All I'm gonna say is, don't be fighting for people that don't fight for themselves. That's all I can tell you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Until they take the first punch, don't jump in. All right, because they'll have you out here fighting for your life, and then when you done got jumped, they're gonna come stomp on you one time too, and then gonna laugh with the person you fighting. So, yeah, stay out of people's business. Sometimes until they actually ask you to jump in, like Sean say. Because one thing for sure, I'm not gonna let nobody jump you, but I'm not gonna fight your battles for you, especially for a person I don't know. I just met you. I just met you. Now I'm arguing with my boo because of you. This makes absolutely no sense. So I wouldn't be taking up for Sandia until Sandia take up for herself, because otherwise I feel like you don't have a problem and you're just venting. I'm just going to assume you're just venting. We're just having girl talk. I'm not going to take it upon me to be like, oh, I hear you, girl. I feel you. Let's do something about it. Because as I'm marching in there, you're not behind me. So those ladies, they issues must with Chris must be something outside of Sandia, because it absolutely made no sense why we took this mission aboard. And oh girl jumped off the plane before it even took off. So I don't know. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, I mean, personally, I think she probably would have liked them joining. I mean, I think Millie and Diamond took it upon themselves too. I think Millie and Diamond need to also be honest about how they don't like Jodie. and there's something deeper about this. Like I don't like what Jody did to Aaron, right? But Aaron's also part of the issue, which is that he's not speaking up for himself, right? But I felt like, with Diamond and Millie, they were putting a battery in her back. If you remember correctly, it was Diamond who was volunteering herself to go and speak about the situation. Millie didn't necessarily want to do it as much, but she was still speaking up. So I feel like they two also had their own issue with Jody, and there's something about that as well. And they used Sandia as a reason as to wanting to get at Jody as well, right? But yeah, I feel, Sandia's passiveness, there's some manipulation behind it, so she needs to take accountability for that as well. So, not against that at all. Definitely, in that as well. Interesting enough, in that situation though, talking about obviously that beef there. I want to quickly just address the situation. Let me see if I can find a clip of that situation, because, Chris obviously was defending Jody again in that situation. Want to get you guys quick thoughts on that, like how you guys he came after a few of them. Let me just play a little clip for you guys. Here we go.
The woman you need to be focused on, not another woman. Why be fake? Be real.
I'm not gonna argue with a woman. That's not what I do.
I love the fact he went argue with a woman. I just love it. What's your thoughts on the fact that Chris obviously defended Jody once more again? Like, it was again once more he defended Jody. We ain't never seen him do that with Sandia. Like, what do you think this is? Like, why do you think that Chris is really defending Jody this much? Like, is it an attraction piece, or is it the fact that they have a good friend? It's a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your thoughts to this, man?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some chemistry between the two of them. Whether it's friendship or whether it's more than friendship, there's something there. And I think Chris also likes the fact that Jody backs him up. Because when he talks, she lights up. She agrees with the things that he says. And Chris is quite the controversial character with some of his opinions. And I think he likes that she agrees with him. He said it. He said, she's my favorite person in the house. And it's not even like he said, like, oh, obviously, I really care for Sandia, but I've had a chance to form a friendship with Jody too. No, he said, Jody is my favorite person in the house. So that to me speaks volumes. I don't see Chris as somebody who's necessarily a liar. He's not that person that he's gonna lie. He may manipulate. He may, try to convince you to not challenge him. He'll dismiss things, but he's probably not gonna he's gonna do what he does out in front of you. And then if you call him out, he's gonna shush you. Whereas Jody is somebody that he doesn't have to even go, he doesn't have to go to that length, because she's like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I like that. So of course he has her back 100%. To me, it's wild. It's totally wild. It does not make sense. And I think that's probably where everybody's frustration and everybody else in the house is like, why are you so down for this person when your own girl is telling you she has a problem with it and you just are so willing to dismiss it? So I think they need to get to the root cause of that. If they really truly don't have anything going on, well, maybe something does need to go on, because it seems like he really is willing to go out on a limb for her in a way that the other Aaron wasn't even going out on a limb for her. So, usually when a woman is so down for you like that, that's where you get that courage. Like you were saying, you were looking for Aaron J to step up to the plate, because Jody hasn't given him that energy, but she gives Chris that energy enough for him to want to step out on a limb, confront everybody in the house, and defend her, because she makes him feel good. So whether they got something going on that they're not being truthful about, or whether they got something going on that just hasn't manifested itself yet, those are the things that are the good parts of a relationship, because you want to defend that person because you care about them so much. You know their heart. You've gotten to see who they are. And when people are talking bad about them, you're like, that's not the person I know. I like her. That should be the energy you have for somebody that you truly care for. So something's going on between the two of them for sure.
I ain't gonna say something's going on. That's the easy way to go. I'm pretty sure we all see that there's something. My dark arts is kicking in. And if this ain't triangulation, he definitely is using this girl to get some jealousy points. He might be one of them people that thrive off of making their girl jealous and think that's cute and to turn on when they do and they act a certain way or whatever. That might play into his insecurities and stuff, that I still have you in a chokehold when I do certain things, or I got a way to control your power, your energy by manipulating situations. I give this girl all these praises and stuff, and then you over here sitting some type of way, and let me see your little fiery side. Let me see you pop off on me. He might get off on that. I don't know. That's what my dark arts is telling me at this point, because it's making no sense, because really I don't feel any chemistry that he has towards Jody. We see that Jody does feel something towards him or whatever, as Aaron J would say, her lady parts are tingling for Chris, but I don't think Chris is, picking up what she's trying to put down like that. But I also do feel like he could be using this situation to make Cynthia jealous, and he get off on it somehow. I don't know. People be weird like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never really thought of it, but actually, do you know what? I think there's definitely there's definitely for me, it's definitely, I definitely see how you see that, Jay, and I actually do kind of see that as well, that triangulation, because there is guys who and you know what it is, when there's levels to dark arts, and people that like to use, you know what I'm saying to you. And I remember, and I'll be honest with you, when I was probably in my early days, and when you become more conscious, it's something I wouldn't like to do. I think when in my early days, not realizing, trying to accrue power, in a relationship with a partner, I remember I triangulated. Now, I didn't necessarily, have the same situation as he did, but I remember I faked a call to one girl that she knows I like, that I found attractive. I faked the call. I remember she was pissed. I had her in a chokehold. But it was just dark arts and it was triangulation. And so maybe he's intentionally pushing more of the agenda about Jody, because he sees, number one, not only how Sandia acts, but how the whole house acts. And sometimes too, you like having the whole house. Sometimes you like having multiple opinions against you. In a particular way, you kind of, when they're against you, like, well, they're already against me, so I'm just gonna push it even further. I'm gonna annoy them even more, right? I'm gonna push the envelope even further. So I can definitely see that, Jay, that he could be dark arts and then triangulating in this situation, and him saying that, when I don't think he's done anything with Jody personally. I don't think he's done anything. I think, you know what, he probably finds her attractive, but I think also because they have the same mindset when it comes to, I think they all came to the first mindset. I think he senses that, Jody kind of at least finds him attractive. I think he's aware of that. I think he's seen her for who she is and what she's actually working with when it comes to Aaron and her. And the reason why I say that is because the last episode, when Aaron, the other Aaron, was questioning him about his behavior towards Sandia, the Aaron that's with Jody was like backing up Chris. And I was like, why is he doing that? And I was like, because Chris knows the jig, and the jig is up with him. He can see that these two are not serious. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So it's all part of that ploy, I felt like. Do you know what I mean? So for me personally, yeah, I definitely hear. I think he's definitely using Jody, definitely using Jody in that moment to also get back at the rest of the crew and be like, well, since you don't like her, I'm gonna definitely still hold. I'm gonna push it even more. You know what I'm saying to you? Because you don't really like Jody. You don't like me either. So I'm gonna push it some more, So that's what I'm thinking about it, as well. Who's Jay Cash?
That's Josh.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. 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 Ah, sorry. Yes, Josh. Okay, yeah, fantastic. Okay, cool. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this Chris defending Jodie situation?
Um, well, Josh is telling us in the chat too that there's obviously seems like some inner turmoil in the house, right? And these things kind of happen in this setting. Uh, you know, so I think that unfortunately this happens in the real world too, right? We use whatever other issues are going around on the surface to help us avoid the true root cause of our own relationship problems. And I think we see this happening with a lot of the couples in the house is instead of dealing with their issues directly, they are highlighting and focusing on things that are not directly attached to them, and it becomes a way to really avoid the real problem, the real stuff that you need to be working on, right? Because even we just talked about this big massive unleashing that Aaron H did onto Jody, right? But at the end of the day, he's got bigger issues going on with Diamond, because now he want to fuss and tussle with her friend slash sister. And don't be surprised that if that's his way of resolving an issue. He showed us that he could do that with Jody, and then he doubled down and he did it with the lady. And I'm not saying she was right and he was wrong and she was right for the things that she said. No. But if he was who was supposed to be a level-headed person, if that's how you deal with conflict, you still have problems. You still have things that you need to work out. So instead of maybe focusing so much energy on Jody and the dynamic between her and Aaron and her and Chris and Sandia, you probably need to focus on why you allow people to draw you out the way that you do. Why you feel like you need to go so far when, somebody doesn't like you. So again, I think people insert themselves into things as a way of avoiding the real problems that they have, because it's easier to point out somebody else's problem than it is for me to look at my own.
Definitely hear that. Definitely, and obviously, they actually showed a clip back of that conversation between um, when Chris and also Jody, when Jody actually said to Chris about the situation and was like, oh, she agreed with Chris, which was interesting for me because I was like, she's a sexologist, but she was agreeing with Chris, and I mean, Jody and Chris are two sides of the same coin. They are the same. They are the same tree with the same root. Okay, it just exhibits itself in slightly different ways. They both are carrying trauma, and the way that they're dealing with relationships and how they actually develop intimacy is quite similar. And so I can understand why she was backing him up, because she sees things in the way that he does. Right? It's like she said, she can have sex. She called herself a little bit of a man eater because she can have sex and then literally forget about you next day. Well, that's the same thing Chris was saying. That's why he can back her up, because they're exactly the same people. So yeah, there's something about that as well. Glenn, what's your thoughts on this, man? Chris defending Jody and stuff like that. What's your thoughts? Welcome to the convo, by the way. Hold on, I can't hear you. Is that me?
Yeah, my bad. That was me. Sorry about that.
That's
I
right.
think they're from the same root, as you said, because you see them having that. She talked about her trauma that she had earlier in life, but then she said she's a sexual creature, right? But yet she doesn't with her own man. She shows him no sexual interest, right? So it's like what you're talking out of both sides of your neck, because you said you're a sexologist, you're sexual, but the guy that you're dealing with, you don't have any interest in, but you show this other guy more interest than the guy that you're dealing with, and you giving him more sexual energy than the guy that you've been dating online. So you have your own issues. There is something there. I think Sean said it, whether it's platonic friendship, whether because they have the same common enemy, whether they agree on certain situations, and he found an ally in the house other than the guys. Because the women all came after him on like the first day, I believe, and so he found an ally which was Jody, and he just riding that ally all the way through. And sometimes you want to be, you want to be the guy that save everybody, right? When everybody's picking on the little kid or the new kid in school, you want to be the person that stands up for him. And so I think he's looking at Jody as, well, everybody's picking on her. I don't want to jump on too. I'm going to stand up for her because I actually kind of like her. And whatever way it is, whether it's a friendship way, whether it's a way of not being a bully. So I'm going to take her side because, again, he, in his eyes, everything he's done is innocent, right? His perception is, I haven't done anything wrong. But from everybody else's eyes, is, dog, you're giving this woman, another man's girl, more attention than you're giving your own. And when you say Jody and Chris and Jody are from the same tree, so is Aaron and Sandia, because neither one of them have a voice, because there's no way in the world that you're giving my woman that much attention and I don't say anything. So it's like the relationships are swapped. And I think and with Sandia just not having a voice, she just doesn't say anything. I think either Jay or Sean said it. Diamond just picked a battle that wasn't hers because Sandia didn't want you to fight. She just wanted to vent. I think that's one of the biggest issues. Everybody drawing themselves into the situation where it's really only just between Chris, Jody, Aaron, and Sandia, and 2 out of 4 parties are not saying anything.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate that. All right, let's shift it. If no one else got anything, I don't know if anyone else has any burning thing to add, but let's shift it then, because obviously, we have, we also had, the situation between Diamond and Aaron. So let's shift it. Diamond and Aaron. The situation was wild, bro. Like, I've also got my second win, guys. I am alive and ready to go. Can't lie to you. Okay, when I started the show, the energy was a little bit down, but I'm ready to go. All right. Now, Diamond and Aaron, crazy. All right, absolutely nuts. We got Diamond trying to manipulate the brother because she feels like she wasn't protected when she went and spoke without nobody telling her to go and speak. Okay, she went and placed herself in a situation, got uncovered, and then expected to be covered. And then you got bad boy Aaron arguing with everybody in that room, including the women. I mean, the way he cussed out the sister, I thought that was a little bit mad. But then the way it escalated was just nuts. That's the part that finished me. And then obviously then having, I guess, an argument with Jody in the first place. So let me get you guys and ladies' thoughts on this situation, because whoa. It's wild out here, baby. Skadachi. It's wild out here. Jay, what's your thoughts of this, man? Diamond, Aaron, how did you see that situation? What did you glean? And what did you see?
I'm a big fan of a man jumping in women's business or whatnot, coming at women any type of way. Just like I'm not a fan of women getting up in men's face or whatever, but it definitely looks worse as a man jumping up in a woman's face, literally unprovoked. Okay, Bambi, take your time. I'm free. Literally unprovoked, and it's crazy to me that he would choose that route to defend her honor. It'd be different if he went at Chris. He walked in a room and it'd be like, you know what, Chris, we don't like what you're doing. I agree with Diamond, what she said last night. She directed it at Jody, but on your behalf, you got some issues too, my friend. Let's do this. But to just walk into a room and just be like, Jody, I don't like you. I never liked you. This, that, and the third. I was just like, this is weird. It's giving real high school. It's giving you kind of do like Jody in a real way, but your girlfriend told you had to break up with her or some type stuff. You know what I'm saying? For a 51-year-old who has been in this world, and I'm not sitting here trying to age shame nobody, but he made it a point to tell us his age or whatever. I'm just like, you got 51 years of experience to know how to handle a situation when somebody is telling you, hey, you didn't defend me. That does not say go in that room and beat up somebody, but I guess that's why these two are together, because the same way Diamond heard that from Sandia, he heard that from Diamond or whatever, because she didn't call you fake, but implied that you were being fake in the moment and didn't finish her sentence. Now you got to go show yourself. That was given fake to me. That whole scene was given fake to me. I wouldn't even believe you. But she was turned on by it. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm not turned off by my man going off on a woman. I'm not really turned off by my man going off at any point in time, because I know if my man goes off, what those results can be. And I'm not really turned on by the fact that I could have to potentially go down, bail you out, have to potentially point you out in a lineup, potentially point you out in a coroner's office. I don't want to do none of those things to be at the end of the day. So I be really trying to avoid situations where I don't have to put my man in a position that he has to escalate himself, because I just know where he's going to go. But that's me knowing my man. Maybe she don't know her man that well, so she's finding out now. I just say, listen, anytime you watch a man act one way in front of you, chances are he gonna do it to you. So just be careful and tread lightly when you're going forward.
Thank you, Jay. Sean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I just, similar to what Jay was saying, I didn't like the way he came after Jody, and it doesn't mean that I felt like Jody was correct in the way she went about things. I think, I don't like that she came and sat next to Sandia and pretty much played in her face, pretending like there's nothing for her to be concerned about, So I just want to make that part clear before, I go more into about Aaron. It's not that I think that Jody and Chris, their dynamic does need to be addressed. And I think that the way Aaron went about it was totally wrong. At the end of the day, if Diamond is saying to you that she doesn't feel like you had her back, I don't think this is the way to rectify that. And I think also Diamond needs to be accountable for, hey, you put yourself out on a limb where nobody asked you to put themselves out on a limb. Nobody asked you to do that, right? Nobody asked you to step out and be the spokesperson in that moment. You decided to make bold statements, and then you wanted him to blindly support you. Yeah, I think she needs to be accountable. I think that needs to be a broader discussion. Whereas I wish somebody like a Dr. Ramani or someone else could have viewed that tape and then said, "Let's unpack this. Let's go through this. How you thought that that was the effective way to address the issues that you had." Because at the end of the day, I think she was wrong anyway. And not to mention, so you are taking pride in him going in and pretty much verbally attacking this woman. So that makes you feel good. She was smiling. She enjoyed it. That to me is problematic, because if you enjoy seeing the person you're in a relationship with be hurtful and harmful to somebody, that makes you feel good. That makes you feel vindicated. That's a very unhealthy dynamic. So lots of problems, lots of toxicity that's resonating through all of that. And I think, like, ultimately, why are you coming at her like that? There's no need for you to do that. If you want to address something with her, I think there's a much more effective way to do that. And if you want to own your part, like, I don't think you clean something up by making other things dirty. It's like, no, if you want to address something with your that you did that happened the night before, you say, hey, listen, guys, Diamond didn't feel like I had her back last night. I did agree with some of the points that she shared. I do think that there's some things that's, could be problematic with your relationship. And for me, there's some things that I've seen you do, Jody, that I don't like. But you don't need to, like, I don't like you and da 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 and going all in like that. That's not necessary. She's sitting there minding her business, you know, and to just go in unprovoked and start like going at her like that. I just didn't like the way he did that. And again, he continuously positions himself as an elder, which means you have wisdom when you call yourself an elder, when you call yourself somebody that can give good advice. That means you have wisdom, and that means you know how to conduct yourself in a variety of situations, especially ones that are challenging. So his wisdom should have told him that wasn't the right way to handle that, and that going and attacking her in that way verbally was not effective, and that wasn't going to do anything to help better his relationship by attacking somebody else.
Good point, Sean. Thank you. Glenn, talk to me.
Yeah, man, I thought it was crazy. I agree with Sean and Jay, but I want to look at it from this perspective. She was telling him that the men, all the men been talking about her, and none of y'all had it back. So, which made my thought was like, if Aaron was going to go into the room, you should have went to Jody. You should have went to the rest of the dudes. Like, yo, why y'all ain't back my girl? Why you ain't back my woman for saying, well, we had a private conversation. Now, I don't know if you remember a couple episodes ago, all the men were in the room talking about the Jody situation, Chris, and trying to, I guess, intervene and intervene. But at that point, he should have went to the dudes like, "Look, my girl ain't got you." Not the woman in the room. You go to the men because your girl is talking about how the men didn't say anything, how the men didn't step up. You be the man and say, you know what? Yeah, because remember, if you go back to the episode, he was the round table. As Sean said, he was the elder statesman in the room. He was running the conversation about Jody and talking to Chris and all this. So I can see why Diamond said, you don't have my back. But at the same time, don't go to the woman in the room who's not doing anything, right? The conversation, because it takes two to tango, right? If she may be giving it, if Chris ain't giving it back, then it's falling on deaf ear. So you go to, as a guy, you go to Chris and be like, hey, this is what it is. And you show your woman that you have her back that way. But in the real world, this ain't TV. That woman can get that dude jacked up. Right? Because if she keep boosting your head, this is after the fact. This is the day after the fact. She boosting your head. You go to some other dude, y'all got a problem. You fighting in the club, or you fighting at church, or you fighting wherever else because she done boost you up and told you to go. Oh, you ain't got my back, and now you got to feel like you got to go defend your girl and get some honor back, right? And for you to say after this, oh yeah, I'm going to the boom boom room tonight. Come on, bruh. What did you do it for? Just to make her all like all giddy and stuff. It was weird, man. First of all, it was cringeworthy to watch. Like, you're 51 years old, you're going off on this young girl. The point has already been beaten to death, right? It's been beaten to death at this point. Your girl went out on a limb. You should be trying to talk to your girl like, hey, don't fight other people's battles. Did you not see her? Did you not see nobody else go out there and fight with you? You alone. If you want to correct something, correct the behavior of the woman that you're dealing with. They say, hey, did Sandia ask you to do that? Why did you go out there on your own? Yeah, we might have left you out there, but ain't nobody know you was doing it. This wasn't calculated. It wasn't planned. You went out there because you felt some type of way, and you want me to defend your wrongness. And he didn't do that. In other words, he's willing to go to talk about to Jody. It was bad. And so Aaron has to realize the way you say things, how you handle situations, how you deal with things, and it's okay to tell your spouse, your mate, whoever your boo, like, hey, I don't agree with you. I can't support bad behavior, and it's okay. She'll get over it, and if she don't get over it, then it's not meant for us to be together. But I felt like, at that moment, he showed how weak he was because he wasn't willing to stand up to his woman. He tried to stand up, but then I don't know what we missed or whatever case maybe. He felt like he had to go defend her because she was upset. Hey, just let her be upset. She'll be okay. She's a big girl. And I think sometimes we as men get ourselves in situations because we don't want to see our mates upset. But hey, wrong is wrong, right is right. If he didn't feel that way that he needed to defend her, he shouldn't want to go defend her at that moment. I mean, that might be a whole different conversation, but hey, she was wrong. And he should have said, you know what, you're wrong. And let's handle it I'm going to handle it another way.
Thank you, Glenn. Anyone else want to add further on to that as well in terms of a situation? You have a second bite of the cherry?
I just say, though it worked in his favor, this could have went all wrong or whatnot. This could have went all wrong. And I mean, it's not all wrong from his part. I'm just going to say this whole thing from start could have went all wrong from the time Diamond jumped in herself up into Sandia and them situation or whatnot. I'm in here for the person that I came here with. I'm not here for anybody else. I'm not worried about anybody else's stuff. I'm trying to work on my own. I wish a lot of these people, I mean, I know we won't have much of a TV show and it'd probably be, Cinemax After Dark. But a lot of these people just take Josh and Shay's advice and just go ahead and tend to their own. You know what I'm saying? Let's fight over who getting into the boom boom room or something like that. But for me to be arguing with my partner about a whole nother couple that's dealing with a whole nother couple, unless we are having an orgy or something like that, are we doing partner swap? I really don't really want to be engaging too much into the situation. I don't even understand why we are even here in the first place. Like, I don't know you people. I am here for the person that I've been trying to get to know for these past couple of years. Y'all work it out because I'm trying to work it out too. Why this cannot be the mentality that we come up in here? Why are we in everybody else's business, making it our own? Now we fighting with our own partner. That's still puzzling me. Because these two is literally arguing, which this man that got on my page told me that we don't get into arguments, but however you want to define it, this was a disagreement that y'all had in this moment on how she felt unprotected because she jumped out there in the ocean by herself and you wasn't there to jump in with her. It's the foolishness for me, baby. I don't know. I think I just don't be focused on other people's relationship that hard, especially if I'm trying to get into the boom boom room. Maybe I guess this was the only way he can get her there. I guess so. He succeeded.
You know what's crazy, Jay? You just said something and I thought about it. If the other Aaron was any type of dude, this could have got physical. If he was a real, defending his girl honor, another man jumps in your woman's face and she's going back and forth, and you're just going to sit there and eat your breakfast like there's a problem. Like there's not a problem. Like there's not an issue. You don't challenge Aaron H. and like, don't talk to my woman like that. Hey, you can't talk to my girl like, hey, yo, pipe down. Like, no one talks about that side. Where was Jody's defense here, right? Where's the man that and Aaron wonders why she don't like you? You shouldn't. There's no way that we're sitting here and y'all arguing with Jack, and I'm not, and another dude's in Jack's face, and I'm not saying nothing. Like, bruh, hey, let's calm that down. We can talk, but let's have a decent conversation. Like, and he wonder why Jody doesn't like him because you're not defending her. You're not saying anything to her, and not even saying anything to Aaron, not protecting her. So it's like that relationship is weird. But yeah, Aaron H was totally wrong. But I just thought when you said something about that, made me think like, yo, the elder Aaron never said anything. He never says anything. But then he wonders why she's not physically attracted to him or why she doesn't really like him. You're not protecting her.
Facts.
Chai. Sean, you got anything to add on to that?
No.
Okay. Well, listen, hey, I think with, this situation, I think Aaron's kind of showing a bit of his tail a little bit here. I don't know. I guess my initial reaction is I'm not so scared of of Aaron's reaction. I don't know if I'm maybe being a bit naive about that, and whether I'm not saying I'm going to be biased or anything, but I don't know where my bias will be coming from. But I don't know. It just didn't feel the same way. Maybe not like the Diamond situation, right? He didn't put no hands on anybody, but obviously it's still something you have to look at because obviously, the reaction to Jody and the reaction to the sister. So, personally, look, first and foremost, having issues with family members is always peak. And I always say this, right? Yeah, that it's always the responsibility of the person whose sibling it is to hold rank and let the person know their place, right? Like, you're never going to have a situation where my dad or mom or siblings are going to be able to talk reckless to a partner. Like, you have to know that if you talk reckless to them, you'll talk reckless to me. So I just want to let you know, listen, you can definitely let me know your thoughts and let me know how you feel. But the moment you talk reckless to my partner, you are talking reckless to me. And at the same time, you want to know, obviously, your partner too. You want to be able to have a bit more composure about dealing with things and trusting that I'm going to handle things because it is my family. Do you get what I'm saying to you at the same time too? So that's also an interesting particular situation. I think obviously with Aaron as well, just the way that that argument spiraled out of control and then became obviously insults was a bit concerning for me. So why did it go so quickly to insults? Like what the hell was going through your head that you had to go to insults? You know what I'm saying, G? I was just looking at that, thinking to myself, what's going on here? What triggered him to want to go to that place where you're dropping the insults to her? I was asking myself that key question. So yeah, it's interesting to kind of see that perspective. I wonder where they're gonna go from here next. I mean, saying that, Diamond didn't look as phased. Diamond didn't look that phased, right? Diamond did not look that phased by him saying what he said, in that moment. And I think they'll probably move past it. It won't even be spoken about too tough, to be honest. But yeah, that's my sentiments on that. I think, yeah, it was just a madness to see him kind of transform so quickly when it just felt like there was no precedence for this. A little comment on Instagram or whatever, Twitter is what caused this broke up business. Nah, yeah, that's I don't know. That's just weird that he wanted to engage in a beef with her like that. I feel that's a bit weird. She's gonna have to watch him. I think from here on out, he should be on a strike one because that was a wild turn up. Can't lie to you. Any other thoughts, guys, before we round it up? So I don't know if I've missed anybody, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that the situation with the sister goes back to, if I'm not mistaken, goes back. I think it's really back to the engagement situation for him being engaged 2 years. I think that's where the beef. They didn't get into it, but I think that's where the beef started from, and they just never fixed it. Maybe she knew who he was getting engaged with, or knew he was playing a sister. Sometimes you have siblings who are overprotective, or they see something that's going on in relationships and they want to break it, or don't want their other sibling to go down that road. And I think he was upset because she called him out on some stuff. I think she's always called him out, and you can see on an episode she's called him out. And I don't think he likes to be confronted by her because I think she speaks the truth and he feels some type of way towards her. And let's not forget that he did do Diamond wrong. He has done Diamond wrong in their relationship. And I think that's what it is. You've been dating my sister for 5 or 6 years online, and in the midst of y'all dating each other, you get engaged to another woman. Getting ready. That means you've been dating that other woman as long as you've been dating my sister, and you've been playing the two, right? You just don't hop up and get engaged. So she's overprotective of her sister, and knowing that the guy that she's with is not doing right, and may not do right. And sometimes family members have a hard time getting past the hurt that you caused their sibling or family member in the past. And I think that's one of the biggest issue is that. She doesn't want Diamond to get hurt again. But again, the sister has to realize that's Diamond's decisions and Diamond's choice. And Aaron has to be understand that as well. And again, he gets manly with women, and that's my issue right there. You get so violent and get upset at the women. Where's that aggression towards the dude? That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I can't take nobody serious yelling and screaming at me, throwing their hands in the air with black nail polish on. I'm sorry. You want to get to hollering and fussing with black nail polish on, and you want to tell me what I need to be doing, bro? Come on now. Call it what you want to. I just can't take him seriously, and I think he, bigger than that. He just needs to understand that this anger that he has, because he said it in the kitchen when he was fussing with Jody. When I get mad, I get mad. Yeah, well, that's not a good positive emotion. That's not a good positive relief for when you, obviously, if you can't control your temper, or you can't control your anger. That's not a positive thing. And again, you want to be branded as an elder, you want to talk about your 51 years old, then you should be measured. You should understand that if you do have a temper, you shouldn't be going at people. You shouldn't be unleashing your anger on people in that capacity. So I just think he needs to learn how to deal with when he's met with things that he doesn't like. How do you deal with that? How do you effectively process that? And you can't just blow up on everybody. And again, the sister, whether it was the biological sister or a best friend that's like a sister, they were raised together. I don't know, whatever their relationship was, she's somebody that was important to Diamond. But my belief is that you can have a disagreement with her, but you shouldn't be going in like that. You shouldn't be going full tilt on her in that capacity. Now, she had a lot to say, and I'm sure he was hearing it in the house. And it's like he just, when you hear stuff going on, so you just brace you're ready. He was on 10. So he was like, I'm gonna match her energy. And again, that's not wisdom. You already know somebody is at a heightened state. You don't meet them where they are. You look to bring wisdom. Shows you, let me make this situation better, or if I can't make it better because the person is unwilling, then I need to excuse myself from the situation, right? It's like, hey, you seem to be very angry right now, and I understand there's some issues that you have with me. Can we talk about it? If we can't talk about it, if she's still going 10 10 10, then Diamond, I want you to spend some time with me and my best friend who came here to visit us. Can we talk separately? And then you can talk to your friend at a later time, or your sister. That's it. You don't need to cuss her out, call her the B word. You don't even need to respond to that. If she's hurling insults at you, that's on her. You don't have to get in the mud with her. She's, you can easily remove yourself from that situation. But to me, it just shows problematic things, because if he's constantly going at people like this, especially women, it's going to come up in a later time. And he needs to work on that with himself. Instead of wanting to dole out all this advice and all this wisdom to everybody else in the house, work on you, bro. Work on your temper and why you flare up the way you flare up, because that's a bigger problem. That's going to impact you better than telling other people what you think they need to do better.
You ain't telling no lies. I can't lie to you, man. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. That you're absolutely right, bro. Like, he literally flipped, and now Diamond's got a. I mean, to be honest, we're saying Diamond's got a thing on her hands, but Diamond and him are a mess. And I'm not saying mess. Mess is just sounds so heavy. Diamond and him have their own issues that they need to work out, and work out quickly. She's too inner, and he has a quick temper, blood. You know what I'm saying to you? So they both need to work on some things in private. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So they need to work on what they need to work on. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, and get it popping from there. So yeah, no, I definitely feel like that there's some work for them to do, and that's couples for you. Do you know what I'm saying to you? If we see any more flashes of red from Aaron, then there's gonna be a bigger issue. Listen, I think people can get things wrong, but if there's another situation where he's hot-headed like this again, yeah, you might have to ask a serious question. Especially the fact that it went into the Jody situation, and at the end of it, he's telling young boy Aaron, like, you'll be calling me, telling me that. I'm like, yo, bro, like, chill, bro. Like, you're doing a bit too much, fam. You know what I'm saying to you? You're doing a little bit too much. And you're going above and beyond that you need to, bro. Do you know what I mean? So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, you're meant to be the wise old head, and I'm not saying you can't get things wrong. I'm more saying that you may have wanted to use a bit more wisdom and a bit more empathy and a bit more grace as well for how you dealt with Jody and Aaron as well. Just because you wanted to prove to your lady that, you know what, like, you're actually got her back. It should never lead to a situation like that. Do you know what I mean? Any other thoughts, guys, before we round up?
Everybody wants a sharpshooter until they get shot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, oh, I'm just a straight shooter. I'm just raw. I just tell it how it is or whatever and stuff. Until that backfires on them. Like, you watch this man go off on a whole nother woman, and you didn't think it would come home to you or whatever. And I mean, maybe you did. Maybe you already know, because according to him, they done went back and forth on Twitter already. But my biggest thing is, where's the respect for me? If I'm Diamond now here Diamond got a whole new issue now. First, you didn't protect me. Now you ain't got no respect for me, because, and I'm not saying it's just on Aaron's side, the sister, quote unquote friend, whatever you want to be, you ain't got no respect for her either. Because if I love and respect my friend, I'm just gonna ride with their decision. I tell my friend how I feel about it, and if I just feel like I can't get along with that person to get along, I just remove myself from being in that person's presence. They don't exist to me or whatever. But out of respect, I'm gonna always show love and consideration for my friend, meaning I will be cordial in your presence. I'm gonna keep our conversation to a minimum. So I just feel like on both ends, they both was wrong because neither one of y'all thought about Diamond in the middle of this. Y'all made it about yourselves. And y'all only in each other's presence because of Diamond. Friend, Diamond sat there and told you, this is my choice. That's what she needs you to do, is be a friend, ride with her choice. Whether you agree with what he did in the past or whatever the case may be, that's neither here nor there. That's not who you with. That's not your man. You're not sleeping with it. Just like he feel like you need to stay out of the business because, you know, he need to stay out of people's business too, and Diamond too. You know, they understand staying out of people's business and focusing on your own. So when my friends say I'm good, let me ride. Okay, friend, you got it. Do you? I'm gonna be here in case some stuff go wrong though. That's what a friendship is. And on the flip side, as my man, this is my friend. This is somebody that is going to be here whether you're here or not. So figure it out. But don't ever disrespect my friend, my family, my anything that I deem close to me once I tell you that this person is close to me. If we want to pillow talk and kiki about it or whatever and stuff, let us do that. But don't ever walk up in my friend's face and start telling her off or telling her some type of way. Now, I'm not there. I don't know how this started. I'm not going to say, you know, he started it, she started. Really don't know who walked into the room, said what to who, and ticked the other one off. Don't really matter. My thing is, at the end of the day, I'm going to look over to my friend and say, you know what, for the love of you, I'm going to leave this situation alone. I'm going to walk out of here. And if I'm Aaron, when you ready, come meet my boy. We outside. Get your friend together. But we outside. And as a friend, out of love for you, D, I'm going to mind my business. Call me either when this is done or, you know, when you just not with him. Not necessarily in a relationship with him, but when you away from him, then me and you can talk, because I'd rather not talk in his presence. So my key thing is, where's the respect for Diamond in the middle of it? And then Diamond, where's the respect for yourself? Like, pipe up for yourself. Like, you want to pipe up for Sandia and stuff like that. Like, hey, I need both y'all to chill out and simmer down, because right now it's about me. And y'all disrespecting me at the end of the day by disrespecting each other, because I'd be damned if my friend walks in the house and talks about the future husband of mine, my future baby daddy, my future stepkids, all of this stuff, my future mother-in-law. Heifer, pipe down, because this is my choice. And you're not going to disrespect my choice right now. Roll with it. And vice versa. My guy, this is somebody that has been there when you was over there proposing to somebody else. This is the shoulder I cried on. So show her some love. Y'all get this together. Because I'll leave you both. But, you know, that's just me. I don't be dependent on people like that.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think she's leaving either one of them. And, you know, you made a good point, Jay. Yo, she wasn't fighting for herself, right? It's like she almost like she wanted this, or she knew this was going to happen, right? There's some friends that, you know, when you bring around your person, that they're going to be rah-rah. And her friend's sister / whatever was rah-rah. She knew what she knew the climate in this situation, right? She knew how it was. And so she didn't come in being a peacemaker anyway. She didn't come in navigating how to navigate these two to get on like terms or have it like-minded. Because Diamond's a rah-rah. You remember when she first came, when they first got to the house, or the first date that her and Aaron went on, she came to the table with some rah-rah, like, hey, I need to, before we move any further, I need to go and know about this engagement situation, blah, blah, blah. And so since she's been there, she hasn't told her friend, hey, we got it straight. All right, she hadn't told her friend because I guarantee you, before coming to the house, they was on some rah-rah. Girl, you better give him your piece of your mind, see what it is, because he engaged to somebody else, and then he wooed her at the table, and they holding hands and going to the boom boom room. He rubbing her feet, and everything calmed down. So her girl still coming in there like, yo, you treated my girl wrong. If your friend wants to be in a bad relationship and she ain't listening, it's just like you just gotta let her be in that bad relationship, right? Even though you standing outside, you in her corner. If she wants to keep pursuing this guy or keep pursuing Aaron, and she tells you to pipe down, you back off. And vice versa. Aaron's like, yo, it's not about the relationship with the friend. You ain't dating a friend. You dating Diamond. So at the end of the day, whatever, regardless of what the friend says, it's not even that serious. I go back to my issue. My issue is, again, I see some tended things with Aaron, and that he just buck up on women, and that's a problem. So if he bucking up on if he's bucking up on Jody, if he's bucking up on the friend, how much longer will it take before he buck up on Diamond? In that situation, it gets real vital because it doesn't seem like she's going to back down. And so now you have these two alpha people going back and forth with each other. So it's some tendencies that she need to look at, and some things that she need to see, that she need to take mental note of. Like, hey, this may not be for me. This guy right here is go from 0 to 60 real quick. And how much longer is it going to take before me and him are at each other's throats on some issues? Because there got to be boundaries, and I think she hasn't been able to establish boundaries in that type of relationship. Whether it's a real sister, whether it's a real real family, whatever the case may be, there has to be some boundaries set in that relationship between her and Aaron. And I'm not sure if she's willing to set those boundaries.
I think another thing too is like, your friends, and why would he bring her? Why would he bring not he? Why would Diamond bring that friend that one, she already has a major issue with him. They've already went back and forth on Facebook or social media someplace already. She's not shy about that she likes him, dislikes him. You clearly can see that you've known him over the years, so now you know that he's a little bit of a spitfire too. Why would you put these two in the same room, thinking that peace is going to take place? So I think she should have brought a different person, knowing the dynamics. Now, maybe the other people didn't work out that she had planned to bring, but this lady was not the right one because she came in hot. She was already angry. And unfortunately, it's not even one of those instances where you could say, well, she shouldn't have, you know, you got to be careful about who you tell what. Unfortunately, Aaron put it on social media when he proposed to that other woman. So once you put something on social media, you can't tell people to mind their business. You know what I mean? Once you put something out there for the world to see, it's kind of like it's public fodder. People are going to talk about it, right? Just like Clay and Selena Powell, you guys did a TikTok, you posted it on social media. People are going to talk about it. You at that point, and I'm not saying Clay has said people need to mind their business, but I'm just saying, like, once you open that door and you put your business out on Front Street, then now you expose yourself to be discussed. So unfortunately, Aaron did that proposal. He broadcasted it for all the world to see. It didn't work out the way he wanted to because sounds like the lady said no. Which to me, the bigger problem is Diamond's rationale. Like, did you hear how she explained it to the friend? Oh, he proposed to the woman, she said no, and then that's when he came back around to me and he realized I was the woman for him. After another woman denied his proposal. Ma'am, that's the bigger problem. That's the bigger problem, is that he found his way back around to you after he was denied by somebody else after he proposed. That to me is better to talk about. Like that, you're focusing on the wrong thing. And then when he sat up and talked to his best friend, and the best friend was like, "Hey, you think you're ready to be married? Yeah, she's the one. Plus, I that's how how I shop. If I don't like it, I'll return it." What? It's like, what are you talking about, bro? Do you really care about her? Do you or is this all just performative? Is this all just surface stuff? And you're gonna propose to her, but if it don't work out, you're gonna discard her. So then you're really not ready to be married with her. You're really not ready to propose, because if you truly are proposing, you should be at the point where you could see her as your wife and stand on it and then talk about all the things that make her great. And I've had enough to see that. But we all know that's not the case, because technically you guys just met after knowing each other for 5 years. Mentally, you shouldn't even be ready. Again, here comes wisdom, because your wisdom, you shouldn't be ready to marry somebody. I don't care how long you've been talking online. If you've never physically been in a room with them, and now you're just in a room with them, and now after a couple of weeks, a couple of weekends, you're ready to propose, yeah, your judgment's not the best either, buddy. Because that's a big leap.
Appreciate that, Sean. Thank you. Well, listen, our 2 hours is up, so we have reached the end. I think it's a great breakdown that we did, and you guys made sure we covered all bases on this one. But listen, yeah, I mean, look, I think I can't wait to see what happens next week. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how they develop from here, because, like I said, I think there are major things that are in the situation where I'm like, this could be grounds for looking at relationship and thinking to yourself, this could go wrong. But yeah, no, this is gonna be interesting to see how they flourish from this point onwards with both Diamond and Aaron as well. We'll see how he recovers next episode with the sister situation, because I think they're gonna be okay, if I'm honest with you. I think they'll be fine, to be honest. Whether they actually marry at the end, another story. But yeah, I think they'll be good as well. But I don't know, Sean, if you could just give us a benediction and we'll wrap up and get on our way.
Sure, absolutely. So I think we take away two lessons from watching this show tonight, and that is one, wisdom doesn't necessarily just come with age. It comes with, learning how to control yourselves in all types of situations. So also be conscious of how people treat other people, because how they treat other people can spill over into how they treat you. And lastly, sweep your own front porch before you get to sweeping your neighbors. Your front porch needs to be clean first before you get to telling other people how theirs needs to be cleaned up. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Listen, audience, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys today. Great conversation. We'll be back. I think I might be on a live tomorrow to do... I think people asked me to do a Diddy one in it, so that people can actually have a conversation about it. So I'll try and do one tomorrow actually as well in the afternoon. But if not, then we're back on Monday for our Christian content. We're going to continue our prayer series. Yes, last week was crazy. It was a good one. I need to chop it up. I need to find the time to chop up these videos, honestly. But yeah, no, we're back on Monday. And please, you guys are, my diary is getting killed. So if you are wanting some coaching, if you are wanting some coaching, please sign up as quickly as possible, because I am now booked up till June. I think I have like 1 or 2 spots in May, but I'm actually booked up to June. So in fact, people already started booking June already. So my diary's already starting to fill up for June. So if you are looking for coaching or something that you want to be able to, you have a problem, relational or whatever, that you want to be able to start dealing with, please do book yourself into my calendar through the Calendly link in the description box. And I would love to be able to help you guys as well. Please, we haven't set a price for it. Okay, all right. So it's whatever you feel the session is worth, or if you feel like, you don't have much money, just book yourself in, man. You pay whatever you can pay. You know what I mean? Like, the good Lord has continued to bless us through your presence. And I always tell the story of Elijah and the widow woman, where she only had a bit of flour and a bit of oil, and that turned into a glorious miracle as well. So never despise small beginnings, and don't despise what you think is a small contribution. It makes all the difference. So I want to be able to help as many people as I can in this season as well. But I think what I would say is that the word that I keep hearing at the moment is find your voice and don't suppress your feelings. That's what I'm dealing with a lot now, and I'll start doing some videos on them for you guys on my YouTube to be specific addressing these things. But don't suppress your feelings and find your voice as two things that I'm definitely hearing as well. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for notification uploads. I will have more videos uploaded for Ultimatum. I've got them ready, so they'll be uploaded today. But I need to watch a few more episodes as well. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Appreciate you.